What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday afternoon / morning for wherever you are in the world. Happy Friday to everybody here. I know it's everybody's normally their weekend. For me, this is the start of my week as a bartender. Weekends are when I work. So actually, it's never a nonstop working, right? Like I'm either live streaming, I'm podcasting, I'm bartending, I'm a dad. Like, like there's never a stop time for me. So welcome in, everybody. If you guys are new here, get your comments read live here on Reality After Show at After Show on YouTube, twitch.tv / Bobby Goodsby. You can also find me on Twitch. My social media handles X/Twitter are and Instagram are at Goodsby Bobby. Excuse me. Sorry for the delay, guys. Sorry for being late to today's stream. Had a lot of technical difficulties with my mouse not working, and it was a whole thing. So, and I wanted to do a new thumbnail to make it a little more vibrant, and that took a minute. So I'm here. We are live. Get your comments read live. And I think we have a fun one today. I want to welcome in my co-host for today's live stream, Lauren Pratt from Reality After Show. Lauren, how you doing?
What's going on? Happy Friday. My personal weekend does indeed start. Wrapped up my job early today, so wanted to hop on this and join the chat, join the squad that you have.
Yeah, I was texting Lauren earlier. I was like, I don't know what we can come up with for today's live stream because like Big Brother's over, so it's not like there's a constant thing to talk about. Like Big Brother, it's constant drama, right? It's just you have live feeds, you have the show, you have 3 episodes a week. There's always something to talk about. Once Big Brother's over, yes, you have Survivor once a week, you have The Amazing Race once a week, but there's really like a lull in the week. Like there's only so much Survivor and Amazing Race you can talk about. So I was trying to discuss with Lauren. I was like, what are some good ideas for a live stream today for having you on? And we decided to really dive deep into which of the big 3 of CBS shows, and we can even branch out to other shows, but I really think the big 3 Big Brother, Survivor, and Amazing Race on CBS, the mecca of reality TV longevity, which of these shows has the best chance of outlasting the others when it comes to staying on our screens? Because I think there's a lot of factors to bring in. There's a lot of things to talk about in this this niche and this genre when it comes to the longevity of these shows. But I'm very interested to hear what you're going to have to say as well, Lauren.
Oh, I'm ready to talk about it. I love all 3 of these shows. They're great. Depending on the season as well. So you have to factor that in too. That's going to be a major thing for me in terms of outlasting, because it all comes down to the viewership, really. Are people still watching? Are they still invested? Because as much as a terrible season does happen, people still come back for the next season for all of these shows.
Yes, and for those of you that don't know, I do have some exciting news. We will be getting Ashley, winner of Big Brother 27, on the live stream in the next couple of weeks. She said she will come on and talk about her game, talk with the chat, get your questions in. I'm going to have everyone be able to have their question answered by Ashley. It's not going to be just me talking to Ashley. I want this to be our show, our community. So if you have any questions that you want to ask Ashley about her game when we have her on, I think it'll be a couple weeks, but once we do, I'm very much so looking forward to that interview, and I want you guys all to be a part of it. So if you guys are watching this after the fact, I'll let you know when that podcast is going to be scheduled so that you guys can be here for the live stream to get your questions read live here on stream. I think it'll be a lot of fun. That's not something, a lot of other places, they don't really do that. It's just the one interviewer interviewing. I want us as a community to be able to get our questions in as well. All right, so let's get to some of the comments real quick. It's a lot of people in here. Tommy, what's going on? Juan, always a pleasure, my friend. Yo, Bobby, the evil empire of the Dodgers moved on last night. I know. I'm so disappointed. Anyone but the Dodgers. Anyone but the Dodgers. Let's see here. Hi, Lauren. There you go. Shout out to Lauren. Sherry, what's going on? Paragoose, what's going on? Lauren, happy Friday to you as well. All right, so Survivor, BB, and Last Amazing Race. I do think it's an interesting topic, right? I think it's an interesting topic as to what show absolutely has the longevity to, continue being on our screens. Like we've seen a lot of these shows, all 3 of them, 25 years now? They all came out basically the same time, if I'm not mistaken. And there have been lulls in periods of the shows, of each of these shows, communities and the seasons as a whole. But I feel like they've it's had ebb and flows, right? It's had ebb and flows, just like anything, where they'll find their footing again and then they'll come crashing down. They'll find their footing in and they'll come crashing down. But they always seem to be consistent because us, the fans, love the content. We love the show, even when it's at its absolute worst. For an example, Survivor 48 and 49 so far. Not the greatest of seasons so far, but we're still here. We're still, we're looking ahead for 50, but we're still giving 49 its chance. And I feel like we're in a real lull when it comes to Survivor. So let's talk about Survivor first. So Survivor, obviously one of the biggest shows on reality television of all time. When it came out back in early 2000s, it was a global phenomenon. It wasn't just, a nation phenomenon. It was a global phenomenon. And we've seen that, play out where we've had many iterations of this show in, international cultures as well. So it stands the test of time because it was something different. It was, people from all walks of life challenging themselves, living on an island, voting each other out, social strategy, what have you. And we've had definitely ebb and flows in Survivor, especially like in the middle era, where I would say like the middle old school era, where it definitely dipped off and people weren't watching as much. Especially too, if you want to go even further back, you could go season 1, season 2, even slightly season 3 were huge hits, and then it just kind of dipped, right? Like especially season 1, season 2, massive hits, one of the most watched shows of all time. And then it dipped down, but it found its footing, I'd say, post Heroes Villains, right? Like I think post Heroes Villains is really when it started to catch back on, because you had people like Russell Hantz that really reinvigorated like the villain role and caught people's attention, not just from the show watchers, but from the nation as well. People were like, oh my God, did you hear about that guy? Like there was a lot of that. Lauren, what are your thoughts on that kind of, the ebb and flow of it all?
Well, going back to season 1 and 2, they were the stars. You have to remember how many interviews these people got afterwards. They were celebrities, basically. They were everywhere. It was a big time deal talking season 1 and 2. And then for me, I feel as though I like your Heroes versus Villains reference on how you have the Russell Hantz era entering in. You have coaches right around that time as well. And then you have to think about as well, COVID. When COVID hits, people that hadn't seen the show before, they're watching all the seasons. They're going back. They're catching up. So if COVID doesn't happen, I don't think you have as big of a fan base, because a lot of those people had nothing to do. So they said, okay, Netflix is showing Survivor. Let's watch these specific seasons that came out on Netflix. And then I'm going to go back and watch all the previous seasons that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I kind of talk. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was just going to say, I kind of talked about it on yesterday's stream, where I feel like the COVID factor was massive, right? So, and I don't know if my computer's going in and out at all for you, but I can still see it glitching a little bit. So let me know if ever it looks bad. But we were talking about it yesterday on the stream, where basically COVID hits, right? And it was right at the same time that Survivor was picked up on Netflix, which was massive for the show, because now people who hadn't seen the show in many years or never seen the show at all, they're stuck at home. They have nowhere to go. All they're doing is watching TV and watching movies and stuff because they're stuck inside. So what are they going to do? Oh, hey, there's Survivor. I forgot about that show. Didn't we watch that back in the day? Like Richard Hatch, I wonder what's going on with that. We have nothing else to watch right now. Let's turn it on and see what it is. And boom, you've got a whole new fan base. Or even, like I said, people that had never seen the show before. Maybe they're younger and it never picked it up because they weren't alive during that time era that it was such a massive hit. And they're like, oh, I remember hearing about this show. Let's check it out. We got nothing else to do. So it really garnered a huge viewing audience that we're seeing now, even with casting, where we have multiple people throughout the new era that became fans of the show during COVID because they picked it up by just watching it on their television screen and then decided to apply. So not only has it just been massive for the viewing audience, it's also been massive for casting as well.
Well, you even have someone such as MC, who only saw starting at 47, but still at least then goes back and watch his previous seasons before going out even to the show. So I really think if COVID didn't happen, I don't think Survivor would necessarily be where it's at. And also the thing with Survivor, we have milestones that we talk about. I know we're saying we're not necessarily feeling 49, but we're still going to watch it because 50 is coming up, and 50 is going to be a huge deal. And so you have to factor that in as well when we're talking about Survivor, because they have hit really good points of this is a returning season. We're bringing back these specific people. It has been many seasons, though, that we have waited for a returning season. And so that's why I believe the fan base is so hyped about it, because it's been a long time.
Yeah, and I think that there's also a lot of factors as to the viewing audience and production, where it feels like with Survivor, they got that huge influx of people watching when it went to Netflix and when COVID happening and people just tuning into the show because they had nothing else to do. So once it went into the new era, and the new era, the ratings once it came back for 41 were pretty good, right? They were pretty good because you had this whole new fan base wanting to see a brand new season. So the thing I worry about with production is they were like, okay, this 26-day format is working. Okay, we can just wash and repeat the same challenges, the same, twists and turns. We can do more journeys. We can do all these things that were never really like that prevalent back in the day. And now it's like, honestly, I feel like maybe production saw an increase in the viewership that they were like, oh, what we're doing for the new era is working, so we should definitely lean into that, which I don't think with the viewing audience that, are fans more of the old school Survivor and how it's been all the way up until COVID. I think that there's definitely miscommunication there with the fandom, right? And so I think that with this show, once we get past 50, I would like them to change it up again, right? Like we've dipped into this well of the new era for now 9 seasons, probably most likely 10 once we get to 50, where we've had the same format and it's getting a little stale. Like it's getting stale as in the gameplay is we're getting to the point we talked about it all last stream, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but the 3 tribe format, I mean, all it is now is it's been completely gamed out where these people just go and get in a 4-person alliance and then, hey, 2 people are on the outs and there's nothing they can do. And it's made for very boring pre-merges. I mean, outside of really 47, it's been very, very boring, right? And so I'm just ready for them to shake it up again. We kind of threw out some ideas on how to shake up the 3 tribe format yesterday on stream, but what are your thoughts? Do you think that the new era has kind of made the game a little stale for the viewers?
I think here's what's difficult is we are filming in Fiji every single season now. So you're missing all of the different areas that Survivor has gone to in the past. Think about this. How gorgeous it was when they went to Gabon. Like that's just an eye-opening experience for those cast members that get to go out there. Think about China. So we are not seeing that. I mean, Pearl Islands, in my opinion, is the best opening scene of Survivor in its history, just because of going to the town, going to the village. I miss that element of Survivor so much. Now, where we're being in Fiji the whole time, we're not seeing the change up. We know that these tribes are on the same beaches as tribes from previous seasons, because those people will go back and watch and say, oh, I remember I was also on that beach. So that's what makes it really difficult, I believe, because we're knowing that we're probably never getting out of Fiji. We also know that we're probably not going to go any more than 26 days. So it's really us as an audience saying, okay, we have to deal with the Fiji aspect of it all. We have to deal with the 26 days, but how can we revamp this and change it? I would be fine if they mixed in, all right, we're going all the way old school season, no idols, no advantages. That could be a season that they could do. There's various ways that they could put in various advantages, change it up a little bit, but I don't need the journeys. Luckily, no one's losing their vote right now from a journey, because that is problematic for me. I think everyone should always have their vote in Survivor, because that is the way the game was designed. The name of the game is to vote people out and not get voted out yourself. So you should always have your vote and have an impact in tribal council and have a say on who could be leaving the game.
And if it really, like, I want to get back to like the whole thing where it's like, if it comes down to keeping us in Fiji to keep the show on the air, then whatever, keep it in Fiji. Right? Like I'd rather have Survivor than no Survivor at all, because the budget's too much to travel, right? Or the 26-day format. I still think that they could do the bigger format. I think they choose to, hey, the show works, why would we do it longer? Like, it's just everything about it logistically, it makes sense for them to do it in a shorter amount of time. If everything, the content is still there, the drama is still there, all of that, and the viewing audience is still going to watch. So at the end of the day, those changes, as much as like we disagree with them, like they're not going to change, right? They're not going to change. They're probably going to be like this forever, unless a contract with Fiji expires and Fiji doesn't want to renew it. That's the only way I see we have a location change. But I think the Fijian people, from what I hear and what I've seen on social media and stuff, they love having the show there. Like, it's been great for them. So, and they've had a lot of people hired from it. It's a whole thing. So I absolutely believe that the longevity of Survivor, because they have made those changes, makes it plausible. I worry because they get so set in the fact that this is how the game has to be. We have to have journeys. We have to have 3 tribes. We have to, watch and repeat the same exact challenges year after year after year. And it's like, I just want something fresh. Like, it doesn't have to be overly impressive, but like, do we have to get the same going in the mud challenges day one, carrying a snake over the thing, doing a ball into a trap, doing a puzzle at the end that says Survivor 49? Like, do we have to have that every season? And it's been like that for a very long time. Can we change it up? After 50, can we change it up and get more thought out challenges that aren't just physical, aren't just puzzle? Maybe they're a little more equitable when it comes to these challenges. That would be a huge change. I think casting, I like the casting. I do think there's a lot of people I like in the new era, but someone brought it up yesterday. Are they casting too many super fans? Do they need to go back to maybe some of these recruits that don't know the game as well, and that still can bring the drama, even though they might not be big game players? At least they'll bring good TV. I'm kind of, I'm not all in on that sentiment, but I do think that there is something there. And then the biggest thing, like we talked about yesterday, you have to change up the 3 tribe format. It's just not working. People have gamed it. They've figured out the meta to it. It's stale and it needs fixing, or I think it's going to drive people away. And it sucks because we love this show. We want to see this show on TV for another, 25 years plus. But I worry if they just stay locked in on one mindset of how the game has to be. That's what I worry about.
What I miss is, so say I think it's going to not change. Yes, we're getting the 24 people for 50, but I think they'll keep it at 18 people typically for the show. I would love to see a 5-4 vote on the very first vote. I want to see the split. I want to see the divide, and then people going back and scrambling around. I miss that so much. We love big votes because big votes are impactful. When you have a smaller group of people, it's not as exciting because most of the time the vote is going to be super predictable. And going back to something regarding challenges, I liked some of the creative challenges they used to do. Heck, bring back that SOS challenge where they have to get the attention from the plane. I'm totally fine with that. If we're talking about shaking things up, that is budget friendly. You could easily pull off doing that challenge. That should not be a problem for you. So there's other things that they definitely can do still to keep it fresh being in Fiji. As you said, I'm totally fine. If that's the way I get Survivor, it's staying in Fiji and the days stay the same. That's good for me. But you can do so many other elements and implement them into the game that makes it fresh, makes it new. I would love for it to come back 51 and we had 2 tribes of 9. They don't even if they don't change anything else and just have the 2 tribes of 9, I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to get back to some of the comments here. Juan says, I dipped out of Survivor for a few years, and what got me interested again was CBS showing a preview during football game of Hans causing chaos at camp. And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of us, for me, I took a big lull there for a while and then picked it back up again in college. My first season back was Fabio's season after a long lull. So that shows the commitment I had to the show. But like there is something there for everyone. There's something there to get it in front of people. And I think the Netflix factor was huge. It was massive. And I like that they gave a couple seasons and then they added more later and then added more later. And it continued to like be fresh for those new people coming in. But I worry, are they too fresh for the people that are new and not giving back to the community that have been diehards for so long? That is my biggest worry. Let me read some more of your comments here. My Survivor blind spots are season 23 through 24 and 29 and 34 through 35 and 41 through 43 and 46. So quite a big lull there.
A lot of blind spots there. I will say
like
for
a lot of
41 and 4 through 43, that's an all right blind spot. You really,
yes,
that's okay. You're all set on those. Yeah, I would say those three. You don't have to go back if you truly don't want to. It's okay.
You definitely don't have to. So Survivor Guatemala filmed on a pyramid. Yep. Water snakes telling Jeff Probst to never come back to Fiji, right? Like they said, like it was super uncommon. And I was listening to the Survivor. Oh my God, Rob has a podcast, the Know-It-Alls, and they had Omar on, and he was talking about how like those snakes are extremely not aggressive, right? They're very, very venomous, but they are not aggressive at all. Like you have to really agitate them for them to be able to strike. And that's why like Jeff and them were saying on the episode, like they've never seen this. They've never heard of an issue like this. Like it just doesn't happen. It's like getting struck by lightning. I think he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. The snake just was like, whoa, you're a big dude. Get out of my way, you know? But yeah, pretty crazy that happened. And is that the first snake bite we've had on Survivor? Like, have we had snake bites in the past?
I want to say no. We've had many injuries. We've had many injuries, but
bugs entering ears and mouths and bites and all this stuff. But like first snake bite, I feel like.
I think Amazon, Heidi was bitten by a spider, I believe. And so that's what caused her knee to be really swollen and everything, but it wasn't a snake bite. So I think that was a spider bite. But other than that, I don't believe so. We've had so many crazy injuries, but not a snake bite.
I mean, knock on wood, but it is kind of crazy.
We had, it was in Palau. They caught snakes and they ate them, but they didn't get bit by any of them.
Yeah. I don't do snakes. Snakes are like one of my biggest, like, no factors. Like snakes and me do not get along. So, I mean, I could do even like the creepy crawlies and stuff like that, the bugs, the ants, all that. Snakes. I don't fuck with snakes. One says, I know it's a cost saver to stay in one place, but I have at least 3 locations to rotate it in and out. Then when the location gets used up, select a new location. I mean, honestly, like we see Australian Survivor always goes to Samoa, right? Samoa is their home location. I mean, couldn't you work out a deal with Australian Survivor and maybe trade locations from time to time? I mean, I know it's totally different productions and all this stuff, but it is Survivor. I'm sure they do have communication with Australian Survivor. It's just something I was thinking about. I don't know how probable it is or how likely it is, but it would be interesting. Bobby, did you dye your hair? No, my hair is just naturally this gray. It just got a really bad haircut where the lady went way too short. She gave me a buzz cut when I asked for fade. So I was telling my wife, I was like, gray? Not so great, but no, on here it looks way gray. It's just, I just got to lean into it at this point. Bobby, dye your hair purple for the Vikings. If I could, I would, but unfortunately my work doesn't allow me to do that. My other job. Survivor to add an element, live feeds, BBOTT. So that's another thing people have talked about too, is doing like a live feeds type thing for the show proper, where you can put it on Paramount Plus and do some kind of, the thing is, it's a tape show. Right. So it's a tape show. It's not like Big Brother. It's not live 24/7. It's not week to week. It is something that's taped and given to us much, much later. But you could do some kind of element of an after show where you get to see multiple clips of the strategy, the gameplay, you know, the tribe dynamics, people bickering or you know, laughing about something, or tell those funny stories like Big Brother 40, or excuse me, Survivor 46, where I was talking about this, when they were talking about, you know, the Taylor Swift album and like naming all the songs from Taylor Swift and Metallica and stuff. You could take that and not have that on the show proper and add that to like a, you know, after the show only on Paramount Plus, right? And then you can get those like learning about the players and who they are as people and what have you, building those stories and keeping Survivor proper. Yes, a little bit of tribe dynamics, a little bit of character development, but also gameplay, social strategy, and then boom, short challenge, whatever it may be.
I'm shocked that even made the cut, if I'm being truly honest with you.
Right?
But they were brilliant with it. I have to give them their flowers when it comes to that. But still, that's not what I want to see as a viewer. I want to see the strategy. I want to see the camp life. I enjoy the challenges so much. And I also miss, challenge-wise, the physical ones. And I get why we don't do those, but you can still make them safe enough where you can make it happen. Do the challenge the sumo style over a body of water. They're going into the water. They're going to be just fine. And I think that's where we're talking about the comparison when we do compared to Australian Survivor. The physicality is just ramped up so much higher in that show. And people enjoy watching those headbanger challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think just change it up. Like you could do like almost like a longevity challenge where you're standing there, you know, it kind of like what we had back in the day where you put your hand on an idol and then you have to stay there for as long as you can and then last to leave. I know it's a lot to ask for like production to have to like sit in these circumstances where it lasts a long time. It's a long endurance competitions, but I do think those are very equitable amongst people, and then also they do provide a lot of drama. I really enjoy those kind of challenges. So there's something there. Maybe that's not the exact answer, but change it up. Like I'm just tired of seeing the same challenges year after year after year, and it's just either they take one puzzle and move it to a different challenge, starting challenge. Like it's all the same games. Might not be the same exact game, but they might take the ending and put it on a different challenge, the beginning and put it in a different challenge. Like they're always wrapped up into each other, and that's one thing that I just can't stand. It's just constant rinse and repeat.
Well, it's hard too with the 3 tribes. You can't have those physical headbanger challenges because how would you realistically do that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, no, 100%. That's a major flaw too. It's the 3 tribe format just has to go, right? It just has to. Bring back Bob Bowie challenge where contestants Ian Rosenberger and Tom Westman held it onto it for just under 12 hours during the final immunity challenge. I agree. The thing is, they're not going to ever do that when we have a lot of people, right? But you can do what like Australian Survivor did in Australia View the World, where they all have their hand on a sandbag and they're trying to hold it up. And as soon as one person lets go, the whole water crashes down. It's an endurance, but team endurance. Like there's ways to implement that.
Yes, as well too. They used to do the challenge where you would stand on the post in the water, and I always enjoyed that because people would drop for food temptations. You always said, what temptation are they going to bring out? Who's going to drop for what? Same thing with the water bucket challenge with the arm over the head. I loved those type of challenges because it is up to you as the player. Am I going to stay here and do this, or am I going to opt out for food? I love temptations because you see truly who is there that wants to win that challenge and who's thinking, I'm good with my alliance. And it creates great moments because you see people drop sometimes that think they're safe, and then they're the ones that get voted out. So there's extra elements right there.
I think one of my favorite challenges that's been on Survivor in a while, and this was a couple of seasons ago on Australian Survivor, where they had the pegs in the wall and you had to like pick your placement on the pegs, and then they had 2 people throwing sandbags, and whatever number it hit correlated to one of the pegs, and you pull the peg out and the person then has to rearrange their hands or their foot or what have you until they ran out of pegs to hold on to. I thought that was cool. I thought it was visually very appealing. I thought that it was equitable. It was to the point where it's like, okay, well, who's just going to endure it and who's going to pull out ahead? Anyone can win this. I like that. Like that is something different. It's something cool. It's something visually appealing. Like give us more of that than the same old physical puzzle.
Right on. I agree. I definitely agree
with that.
All right, so
let's get to more comments on here. 2 tribes opens up the field for more diverse challenges too. I agree. Like that's what we were talking about. Like if you have 2 tribes, it opens it up completely. I still think there's a way to salvage the 3 tribe format. I'm not going to talk too much because we talked about it all day yesterday. But if you guys haven't seen that show, that live stream, go check that out. At After Show, you can find that one where we kind of dissect how to fix the 3 tribe format and how to possibly even change the tribal council as well. Lauren, let me get your opinion on this, because this is what we brought up when we talked about it on the podcast too, when we did the Survivor After Show. What do you think about if you had 3 tribes, you go to the challenge, right? And then the challenge, you then you have one winning team that wins immunity, and the other 2 tribes then have to go to tribal council. Then at tribal council, both tribes vote amongst their own, and they vote out one of each of them from their different tribes. So say blue goes and yellow goes. So blue loses a person, yellow loses a person. Then those 2 people compete in a challenge at tribal council. The winner gets to go back to camp. The loser's out of the game. Then another thing we threw in too is that person that was voted out and then saved themselves and came back in the game gets some sort of advantage. It doesn't have to be immunity idol or what have you, but then it allows him to be able to create gameplay when they go back to camp, so that they're not just, hey, revolving door, you're back going out again, good luck saving yourself. Then they have an opportunity to use an advantage to possibly bring people into their side or even save themselves. So it might not just be a revolving door. That's something we threw out there. I think it would be really cool because of the fact that they go back to camp and now, hey, all these people just backstabbed me, or all these people just turned on me and voted me out, and now I'm back at camp. Like, I'm not going to work with these people. There's a lot of tribe dynamics that could work there. What are your thoughts on that idea?
So it gives me Australian vibes for sure, because those type of twists do pop up in their game. I would be fine with that every once in a while. I would not want it to necessarily be a constant, because then I think it takes away too much from what the game of Survivor actually is. But I do like that element of shock surprise, where you say, okay, both of them are going, they make their votes. Oh no, they're not both going home. They have the competition. What I also like too is that person say they win. I would be fine if they could pick to choose either an advantage, or they can pick to go to the opposite tribe and join them instead.
Exactly. And that would be a lot of fun. That's a cool little twist on it too. And this is the thing, we said maybe just try it for one season and see how it plays out. You know, just 51, it's a different era. It's a new era. Try it out and just see what happens with that format. Another thing too, we suggested was, what was it? That the winning tribe could watch the tribal council and get to see where the tribe dynamics are of those other 2 tribes. The biggest factor would be how you're going to fit all that in a 90-minute episode. Like, it already feels like they're having a hard time filling those 90-minute episodes. Like, because you don't want to take away from the tribe dynamics. You don't want to take away from the social game, where you still get to see character development and all that, but you can make the challenge, the immunity challenge, shorter. You don't have to have, the beware advantage and all that play out, because now the advantage that you find is only when you go through the tribal council and survive. And then you also don't have to have the journeys. Like, the journeys would be completely done for, right? So then it does open up a little bit of tribe dynamics. I do think that you get a little bit of a crunch time when you have to see the 2 tribes that lost. How are they going to, show us who they are leaning towards voting out in enough time span to give us 2 compelling stories going into tribal council? And I also said, like, obviously, I think you do one tribal council where it's both tribes vote at the same time and there's 2 different urns, because there's got to be a way to speed it up if you are going to have that format.
The only other problem that you're going to run into is if it's constantly the same 2 tribes, then that 3rd tribe, you're going to see little to none of them. And that's always what my issue is in general, is there seems to be one tribe that we get basically nothing from, and then we get to the merge aspect of the game, and I know nothing about these players yet, and I'm thinking, since we went from 60 to 90, the purpose of that was so we could see almost everybody, and they have done a good job at that at times, but other times we're really getting little to none of one specific tribe, and then it's really difficult to know what their strategy is, what their gameplay is, what their thought process is going into the potential end game.
Yeah. So I'm going to get back to more of your comments. Guys, get your comments read live here. And if you guys can, please hit that like button. It helps us out a lot with the algorithm. Leave a comment. Hit the bell notification so you're notified when we go live. Every little thing helps. But get your comments read live here on stream. We read everyone's comments on stream, so get them in while you can. I'm going to come back to Even Hands here, your Big Brother comment here in a second. I'm not ignoring it. I will be back to that, because we're going to get into Big Brother as soon as we get through these Survivor questions. What if Jake died from the bite? Would it cancel Survivor? I mean, we saw that with the French Survivor, where someone actually died on the French Survivor season that they had. And they didn't have that season. They didn't play out that season, right? They just ended production there. And I think it pretty much, it took away the show. Like it canceled the show essentially. I don't know. To be honest with you guys, I really don't know what would have happened in that situation. If he did get a venomous bite, if he did, say pass away, God forbid, that happened. Thank God he's okay. But like, if I've always wondered this, because we do have an example of it, sadly enough, with the French Survivor, of what happened when someone does pass away on the show. I also play into the fact that it was French Survivor. It's not US Survivor that's had multiple seasons and probably doesn't have the viewing audience that the US Survivor has. But there's an element of maybe at least that season gets canceled. Maybe that season, the production ends there and they don't have that season. They come back with another season, like with an in memoriam type of thing. But I really don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
It's really tricky because in that instance, you can't necessarily have someone pass and then go back to all these other players and not be able to provide an update, because you have to think of the mindset of those specific players. So say, for instance, the people that are left from Jake's tribe, they are not going to have the capability to process everything that has just now happened to then go and continue to play a game. In my personal opinion, I just think still, even what was it, day 6 this happened, that is enough time for you to get a personal connection with somebody. Whereas you just, the amount of shock level that you would have to deal with in that instance as well. And the fact of the matter is, you're not around your specific loved ones either. So there's not enough emotional support for you to be able to necessarily process this. I just don't see a way that they would be able to continue that season on if that were to happen.
It would affect everyone. It would affect all the tribes. People would be obviously fearful of something going to happen to them. You're already in these extreme conditions where, your brain is like not working properly. We see a lot of brain fog this season with people not getting, they're malnourished. They have lack of water, lack of sleep, all of that. So then that on top of it would be way too much. So I definitely think 100% the season would be canceled at that point. And it's unfortunate if that ever does happen, or if that happened to somebody. But I don't know if it would completely destroy the show, right? Like, I think there would be a lot of publicity behind it and stuff, but everyone knows the risks that it takes going out there. Like, you are putting yourself in extremely difficult situation, extreme situation. But I think the show does everything they can to protect the people and protect the players, and the crew and everyone involved. But there's just sometimes some outside influences that you can't necessarily account for, like a snake coming up from behind Jake and biting him in the foot. Like, there's just certain situations that you can't avoid. It's going to happen. It's just called life. But I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad we do have this season, but I am interested. It is an interesting topic because I think the season would get canceled. I don't think the show would get canceled.
Well, and you also have to remember too, just the various places that they have been with so much wildlife, anything could potentially happen there. I mean, it's, everyone, as you said, knows it's a risk. And so I think definitely, yes, as we said, canceled for sure that season. But I think it would still continue to come back. I'm pretty sure that would happen that way.
Yeah, I also, I mean, you talk about like the most extreme situations. Like the craziest one to me was Survivor Africa, right? Like everything out there is wanting to kill you and eat you, right? Like, so like they even had to set up tiger, I forgot what they're called, but like tiger nets or whatever, and our lion nets or whatever they were called. I'm sorry, I'm getting that wrong.
It was like the ring of the circle that they could not leave that specific area after a certain time period because they were putting themselves at too much risk.
Yeah, and they had like guys with guns out there protecting the borders and everything. I've seen a lot of behind the scenes stuff where they had these things completely bordered around where, yeah, you're out there, but you're bordered off, but there are lions, there are tigers, there are all kinds of stuff just circling around that area. And that they had to literally have armed guards out there in case one of these wildlife tried to get in. That's insane. Like that is extreme to the max for me. Living on Fiji and just being around these bugs and snakes and all that, as much as it creeps me out, I would do it. But that doesn't freak me out as much as, hey, 20 yards away, there's a lion just walking around. Like, like, no, like I'm not putting myself, like we have to have armed guard out here. They don't have armed guard in Fiji. That's crazy. So So let's get to more of your questions. Michael Scubin tried to kill a wild boar for food, which charged at him. Ozzy bitten on the foot by a small shark. Eric stepped on a sea urchin. So yeah, there have been circumstances, and a lot of these are obviously unavoidable. But that's just part of Survivor. I really hope that we never have to worry about a situation where someone's like really, really hurt, like in a life-changing way. Juan says, I'm honestly surprised that these shows don't utilize the Paramount Plus app, like a 30-minute show or an after show. I'll drive more viewers and expose your past seasons to the fans. And that's 1,000% what we've said. We've said it about Big Brother. We've said it about Survivor. Like, use something to make Paramount Plus worth the subscription, right? Like, yes, you get live feeds, but you also get live feeds on, what is it, Tubi or whatever? Like, you have other resources to be able to watch the live feeds. And I say this all the time, Lauren, if they just had the damn HOH competition on the live feeds for the viewers to watch every single time, people would shell out the money to pay for Paramount Plus. If you gave them some kind of after show or some kind of behind the scenes show for Survivor, people would pay for that product. People would pay for Paramount Plus. It just seems like a no-brainer.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, even so, we have seen this season. Well, I know we'll get to the Big Brother component of all, but they did bring a Big Brother after show, which I think people were interested in. They had new guests every week. They were bringing back old school alum from the Big Brother series. So I think Survivor could do something such as that. They have a little bit of an after talk where they could bring on a contestant from the current season, or they can bring on someone from a past season. I know people do the podcast, but also people as viewers don't always listen to all the podcasts. They want to see it up on their screen. They want to see something televised to them.
Yeah, there's something there, that's for sure. Ace Dave says, so far this 49 is filled with annoying players who save vibes too dang much. I agree. Like, it's literally, it's the vibe season, Dave. It's the vibe season. Like, they've metaed the game, guys. Like, we've talked about this. Like, they've metaed the strategy on what to do at the beginning of the season. You just grab 4 people, say, hey, we're all together. No one break away from this. We work together. We'll at least make it to a tribe swap or even a merge. And that's just, I mean, it is the smart way to play. It's just hella boring TV. Let's see here. Oops. Ask Lauren about special powers for Survivor blockbuster winners. So, like, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, yes, it's kind of like a Big Brother blockbuster, essentially, when we were talking about the 3-tribe format and like winning some kind of advantage if you survive the challenge after the vote out. That, I think we pretty much got to that, but I do think that would create a lot more of dynamic gameplay when you do go back to camp.
Well, so if we're talking blockbuster here, though, in that sense, because the blockbuster occurs so many times, that would make too many powers in the Big Brother house. If you're countlessly doing it time and time again, every single round, I just think the blockbuster in itself, that's how you save yourself after already having an opportunity at the veto potentially. So I believe blockbuster should just stay as is.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I'm going to try to get through some of these Survivor comments just so that we can get to like Big Brother and Amazing Race, since we are already 44 minutes in and have only brought up the longevity of Survivor. They canceled the DeMar Hamlin game and he survived. Well, yeah, and that's why I think they would cancel the season. That was a crazy situation. I don't believe. What's up, Gardy? I don't believe the players would go on. I'm trying to think what that was in reference
to. About what I was bringing up my point. If he unfortunately did pass, I was saying the players would not be able to emotionally and mentally be able to keep going on. They would stop. I mean, if I was a player out there and I was on a tribe with somebody, even if I'm not even on that tribe with that person, I'm not continuing to play. You can't handle that at all. And it's just devastating, especially knowing you have no support out there and you're just thinking about that person and that person's family. Yeah, there's no chance.
No shot. Dreadful Ruby, what's going on, my friend? I'm going to be annoyed if Jake gets asked back. Well, so far, he's not going to be on 50, so we know that. He's on 50. I don't think so. I think just if you guys aren't privy to it, he's not on 50. He's definitely not. It's we've got a couple people that are on 50, but he's not one of them. I will say that. What's up, Humane Vitae? Vitae, what? I thought it was Savannah and Rizzo. It is Savannah and Rizzo. It is Savannah and Rizzo, and it is not Jake. From what I heard, he kind of deserves a second chance. So I do think that I'm here for it. if there is a season of all the people that were medevaced. Like, do a medevac versus first one out season and have 2 tribes. I'm here for it. I'm kind of here for it.
I would be fine with it. You have good options. I mean, they did run it back and have that as part of a season, Philippines, and it was. I mean, I like Penner a lot, so I was happy about that scenario.
Same. But I think, like, yeah, if you had first one out and medevacs, I think there's enough people to pull there for sure to have that kind of season. I don't know if the show wants to lean into medevac returning guests. I mean, they've done it before. They've done it before, but like, I guess there is precedence for it. So I don't know. I digress. I don't think anyone deserves to be on Survivor. The audience deserves to be entertained. That's about it. I don't disagree with you. I do think that, like, there's some people that I'm like, that sucks, right? Like, that sucks to go out in the worst situation possible, or given circumstances, like where, you know, I liked when they brought what's his face back a couple of seasons ago. All he did was bonk his head in the first challenge, and that was Bruce. Thank you. He lost in that first challenge because he bonked his head, and then he was able to be brought back. But like, we've seen that with no one else, right? And it was just kind of like, why is the show leaning into this now? Like, of all times, like, they were like, immediately Jeff was like, Bruce will be back. We're getting him back right away. It's like, why is Bruce the one of all these people that have been medevaced, especially early on in the game, that he's the one that you're like, we have to have him back?
Yeah, where's, Courtney from One World that broke her wrist on that first challenge? Like, what the heck here, folks?
Yeah, there's some
not that I think Courtney should come back, but I'm just giving a reference.
Exactly. There's a lot of that. Then Juan says they wanted to do a season in the Middle East, but 9/11 forced them not to. Could you imagine Survivor in the extreme heat? No, I think Middle East would be too much. Like, that extreme heat, like, they've got to do it in a tropical setting, right?
Well, Juan, I'll let you respond to this, but I believe, if I remember correctly, they wanted to do it in Jordan. I think that's where they were trying to film, but I could be getting the wrong location, but I believe it was Jordan was where they were trying to film that season. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so let's get some more comments on here. Dreadful Ruby says, it's funny to me that Nate feels old and out of touch with the lingo when a teenager would, I'm sure, be rolling their eyes at these 20-somethings. Like, and doesn't he have young kids and stuff too? So, like, doesn't he like hear this lingo at home all the time? I think it's just something the show's leaning into. There might be like, hey, what do you think of this? And his little comment. I don't know if he actually is like all about that. I think the whole lingo thing is just like for TV entertainment. This might be my least favorite cast in years. I mean, I'm going to give it its due, right? Like, guys, we're early on. Like, we can't just completely be out on this season. We don't know anything about the Yellow Tribe. We've literally got like 2 things from the Yellow Tribe, and that's it all season. So we don't even know who they are, or what they're going to play, or how they're going to play. So I want to give it its time. Jeff has said the end game of this season is wild. I don't always take what Jeff says as gospel, but I'm here to at least give it its opportunity, because I think being on the heels of 50 that everyone's really like excited for and anticipating, like it sucks for them. So I want to at least give them their credit. So far, they haven't impressed me, but it's still early on.
Listen, if you can end with a good merge and a good end game, that turns up the season for me.
Survivor Antarctica, they can do it in the summer. That'd be wild. Midnight Sun would be killer. Absolutely. Like, there's no way. My kids aren't saying vibes and fire. That's all I know. Mine's too young to say that stuff. So I want to get back up here to Eben Hand's comment, because they wanted to bring up Big Brother. So Big Brother will at least will at last, I didn't want to say will last, because it's easier to get players. Another thing too, I do think that Big Brother probably has the most longevity. And the reason I say so is because it is so easy for them to make this show, right? They use the same, it's on the studio. They use the same plot of land, the same house every single year. All they have to do is remodel it to a new theme. And then production's just there with the cameras, doing the challenges on set. It is not nearly the amount of production cost as Survivor or The Amazing Race. The production cost is way minimal compared to those other massive productions on, foreign land. So I think Big Brother, from a financial institute, has the longevity to last many, many, many more years compared to the other shows. I hope they all last a long time. But if we're talking about longevity-wise, I think Big Brother absolutely has the financial backing to be the longest running show.
Big Brother is sticking around for as long as they want it to. When they want Big Brother to be over, Big Brother will be over. But I believe as well that it's going to stay for a very, very long time because, as you said, it's very easy to just transition into the next season. All you have to do is change the theme, which that is one thing I do enjoy about Big Brother. They have themes. That is what Survivor got away from, the themes. I miss that like crazy, and Big Brother has stuck with it. So I could see Big Brother continue to go. The other thing we have not talked about is for either one of these three shows, all the original hosts are still there. How much of an impact is that going to have when we lose one of those hosts from the OG? They're the original ones. Who's replacing these hosts? That's going to very heavily factor in because you could see a replacement come in and it might not go as well. So then the fan base could completely shut down with that. I think that's going to be another impact where how long that show will stick around depending on who replaced which hosts.
I think that is a big factor. I do think that the show, especially like Survivor, like if Survivor, let's say Jeff ever wanted to retire, which I don't see him ever retiring, right? Like this is his baby. He loves this. Like it's everything to him. If he ever did retire, they have someone perfect waiting in the wings that could take over no problem in JLP. Like JLP could come on. He has no obligations to Australian Survivor anymore. I think the show would be, people would love it. People would be here for it. And I think it wouldn't even miss a beat if Jeff ever wanted to step back into maybe just a showrunner situation or even retire and take away from, being the host and the face of Survivor, which I don't think he wants to, but I'm just saying if he ever did, JLP is the perfect candidate and they have someone absolutely perfect and the fans would love.
We love JLP. And that's another thing that you just said. The fans would love it. They would be fired up for JLP's back. Then you get some of the Australian viewership and all that. There's a lot that can come with it. We're not saying that we want Jeff to go. That's not what we're saying here. But we said if the time is right and when the time comes, because how old is JLP?
He's like 50. He's actually older than what he looks.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks fantastic.
He looks amazing. I'll look it up right now. But sorry, 1 second. I think that with Big Brother though, so yeah, he's 56. 56 years old. Like he does not look 56 at all.
I would have said 40. So that's why I asked how old, because I wasn't sure. Because I'm thinking in my mind, he has many, many more years that he would be able to do, because Jeff is older, but not that much older.
Yeah, how old is Jeff Pro? Jeff Pro's probably in the 60s, right?
Correct. But I don't know where in the 60s.
I'll check right now.
Yeah, so no.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm looking. Oh, sorry. I'm looking it up right now. I keep clicking because my mouse doesn't work. Keep clicking the wrong thing. But yeah, no, I think with Big Brother though, I think Big Brother, so he's 63. So really there's not a huge, display of age difference between him and JLP.
Which but I thought there was.
You would think there was, but there's not. But honestly though, if Jeff ever wanted to just be like, I want to be the showrunner right now, right? Like I want to be the person that's behind the scenes. I'm, helping run the show rather than being the face of the show. I don't think Jeff wants to do that. I think Jeff likes being the face of the show. I think he likes everything that comes with being the face of the show, and he has been the face of the show for so long. But if he ever wanted that, JLP would be a great candidate for that role. All right, so let me get back to your guys' comments real quick. Where were we? Okay, so Juan says, yeah, Lauren, it was Jordan, and the location was known for filming movies there. It was Boston Rob's first season that was supposed to go. So, okay, so that's interesting. Instead of Marquesas, it was supposed to be Jordan, which would have been wild. I don't trust the Big Brother producers to not destroy the show. That's the biggest factor. The biggest thing in the way of Big Brother is, one, the show getting canceled for toxic people. I mean, we've seen a bunch of toxic people, but like there could be enough of an outrage, TMZ, what have you, that because of the live feeds, because it is live, they run the more of the risk when it comes to the public persona of the show because of maybe possible players or something with production. That is the biggest thing that could be a hindrance to their longevity. Outside of that, though, like, yes, the show frustrates us at times with their twists and stuff, but we're still going to tune in. Like, we're still going to go and watch the show. Even when it's a absolutely terrible season and the cast is so boring or there's just not something there, you're still watching in to see if it changes, right? There's only been a handful of seasons that I've been like, okay, I'm not going to finish this season. All Stars 2 was one of them. Big Brother Canada 3 was one of them. Like, but that was because of production things or very boring casts. And it's very remote that does happen, but outside of that, I don't see what could get in Big Brother's way as far as longevity wise.
Right, because they don't have the capability to edit things out, such as Survivor and The Amazing Race. If something is not correct, they go, "Oh, don't need to put this in the show." But Big Brother, we see it all. And let's talk about it here as well. I mean, think about this past finale. In my opinion, that was one of the best finales we've ever seen because we didn't know what the end result was going to be going into it. You got a million things packed into that episode. You could not have asked for anything more in that. It was entertaining from start to finish.
Yeah, I agree. I said that even though the season wasn't the best last season, the ending made it all worth it, right? Because like you said, it was the first time in a long time that we didn't know who could win. We didn't know 100% where the votes were going to lie. Even if Ashley was up against Morgan in the final two, I still don't know if we fully know how that would have played out. And that's crazy. We haven't had that in a very long time. There's always been one extreme front runner or someone that's brainwashed the other two in convincing them that they have a chance against them when we all know that they don't. So it makes for very boring TV because we're like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, this person's going to get to the end and win anyways because all these other two people said they're going to take them. Like, that is boring, a boring ending, a boring way to end a season. And this season was really good, even though it was kind of a lackluster season leading up to that.
Definitely, but that's what I'm talking about. Anything can save seasons, but you also have to say whether the gameplay was as bad as it was, the entertainment was always there throughout the entire season.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had the Rachel, you had the Vincent Morgan drama, you had Keanu with his back against the wall. There was something there for everyone. And even though it frustrated me at times because the lack of social gameplay between a lot of people, i.e. an Ava, a Lauren, and let's see here, who else? Will. Like, there's times where it's like, come on, guys, get your head in the game. There were people there that were salvaging the season, like it or not, for good or for bad. Juan says Big Brother is cost saving for CBS. It's a show that runs in the summer, and the network rarely premieres new shows during that time. And that is a big thing too. It's basically their survival during the summer when they don't have network TV to be able to show. Like, that is their summer reality show to have in prime time on multiple nights of the week. Unlike the fall and the winter, where you have a lot of, these actual scripted shows taking up a lot of that airtime, along with Survivor and The Amazing Race. The summer doesn't have that. So this is a big time filler for them for those seasons. So they want that time filler. Sherry L says, whoever said it's easier to get players for BBY, it's the whole summer. It's not necessarily. Here's the thing. Big Brother is never going to have a problem trying to get people. Just like any of these reality TV shows, there are enough people out there in the world that would give anything to play these games. So it's not a factor of, oh, people aren't going to want to play because it's such a long season. No, people will give their left hand to play this game no matter how long it is. It could be a year-long game, and I guarantee you there'd be people that want to play this game. Like, we've seen it on other shows that, maybe didn't stand the test of time, where like what was it? Oh my gosh. Utopia. Like, Utopia was supposed to be like a year-long thing. Yeah, it only lasted a few weeks, but like, those people were planning to be out there for a whole year. So you have the opportunity to get these people to, be on a TV show for a long period of time and have no issues with it. So I don't think that's ever going to be the issue. The casting is never going to be able to be the issue. There's people like me where I'm like, if I were to do a show nowadays, it would probably have to be Survivor, because there's no way I could leave my wife and kid, and financially there's no way. But like, Big Brother is still not going to have that problem, especially with like the amount of people that can garner a career or popularity or stardom because of this show.
People have left their jobs for these shows so many times, and they will continue to do that. I don't think it's a problem for anybody if they get the call and they get the opportunity, especially Big Brother, because more people coming off Big Brother are known in comparison to Survivor and The Amazing Race. You see how their followers on Instagram, on X go up throughout the entire season, and they have family members that are able to run it or friends who are able to run their accounts for them. So they're still engaging. And that's why you see them coming out of the house and you have so many people following you and that are invested in you.
All right. So Dave says, who's the lady with you, Bobby? That is Lauren Pratt, everybody. One of our correspondents here at Reality After Show. Go check out all of her work. She does great stuff with 99 to Beat. And there's a lot of other content. You did oh my gosh, why am I blanking on it? Squid Game show.
Squid Game. Yeah, Squid Game, 99 to Beat, and then always dabbling in Survivor. But
why am I blanking on the other one? The one with Sandra Diaz-Twine's daughter.
Yeah, that's
the Anonymous.
Oh, the Anonymous. We did the Anonymous.
Yeah,
yes, when that was
as well. I wonder, any word if that show's getting brought back, or do we not know?
I think it's done. I think that was a one and done type of show.
It was a one and doneer.
I
all right.
I believe so.
All right. So right here we have, if Julie leaves, they should get Arissa Cox. And that's another person, just like JLP for Survivor. Arissa Cox could be waiting in the wing and the fans would absolutely love it. I feel like with Big Brother, though, Big Brother doesn't like care what we think, right? Like they would just get some, like, I feel like we would get one of these people like a Jerry O'Connell, who's just a celebrity fan of the show. And they would be the host of the show if anything happened. Like if Julie left the show, we saw it happen. Like there was a time, didn't Julie get COVID or something, and Jerry O'Connell filled in as host for an episode? Like I feel like the precedent is already there that yes, the fans would be calling for Arissa Cox. The show will give us Jerry O'Connell.
Well, that's just what Big Brother does. They tend to disappoint with what the fandom wants. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%. All right, Gardy says, would JLP click with the cast Survivor New Era prefers? I mean, I think JLP can accommodate to whatever he needs to do to be the host of Survivor. I don't think JLP has any problems. And JLP brings the best out of people, right? He, just like Jeff, he knows how to discuss a situation at tribal council that maybe people aren't really leaning into, and he knows how to bring out the emotion of that moment and get people to convey what they're trying to express or what they're feeling in that moment. And I feel like Jeff does really good at that. And I think JLP does really good at that. And also the best thing about JLP, in my opinion, is his little one-liners at the end of tribal council when they're all about to go back to camp. It's like, it's original to JLP. It's funny. It's a little cheeky, but it's like, that's like the JLP stamp on what makes him different than Jeff. And I think that it's very endearing.
Right. JLP is really, really good at what he does. And so I think anytime you could get JLP back on your screen for anything, you could do it. Heck, I'd love to see JLP dabble in Traders, if I'm being so honest. I'd love to see JLP play a game.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love for that to happen. All right. Juan says, Survivor is way more dangerous than Big Brother. You're stuck in the house, although you're being filmed 24/7. And that's the thing too, is like Big Brother is like a 24/7 thing, which apparently people don't always realize that they're filmed 24/7 and on live feeds 24/7, which that needs to be addressed. People should know this. And then also Survivor, yeah, you're in much more dangerous elements, but like it just depends on your preference. You know, if you're trying to get cast for one of these shows or you want to go on a show, I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to what are you going to actually apply for? Or some people, it doesn't matter. They'll say yes to whatever is the next thing in front of them, right? So there's always going to be people for all of these shows. Let's see. Tatsuya says, in Big Brother 20, turned Sam Bledsoe into a robot, and it was my favorite gimmick. That was a good one. That was a good one where she was just a robot for like, what was it, a week? Or was it a day? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
It was a long time,
I believe
right?
It was the week.
And she was just stuck behind a screen. That's wild.
That's got to be horrible. I mean, it's entertaining as us to watch, but that's got to be wild to be in her position to do that.
And it was week 1. Like, if I'm not mistaken, It was week 1. So it's like, that's the time you really develop relationships with people and your gameplay and all that. Like, how to not get targeted week 1 when you're in that situation. It's probably feels impossible. Didn't she have like a robot that she got to like drive around and stuff and be at different parts of the house?
Yes, it was all of that. And so the problem you have with that too is you can't make those emotional connections because if a robot's talking to me, I'm going to be laughing because I think it's funny. I'm not going to be able to fully listen to what you're trying to say to me.
And then like it would get stuck or like she needed someone to lift it to like go up the stairs or like they would all leave and she'd be like, is anyone here? Like I remember that was just so good. It really was a good thing. It was a good twist, excuse me. I rage quit 27. That tracks. I think Morgan beats Ashley 4-3. That's where I fell, but people disagree. So maybe we're wrong on that. I want to get into the Amazing Race next because we're getting a little bit close on time. So I'm going to bust these last couple questions out, and then we'll get to the Amazing Race longevity. Big Brother Twins gimmick is also my favorite. Julia and Liz Nolan, Amanda and Samantha Merchant. I do think the twins thing was fun. I mean, I know people weren't always here for it, but I like that they were changing it up. I like that they were trying something new. And with like Liz and Julia, people figure that out right away that it wasn't the same person. But like it was cool. It was like it's a different gimmick. Like it's not something that directly impacts the game in a terrible way, like the Rachel twist. And that's why I can get behind those kind of twists, in my opinion.
Oh, I love that because it changes up the game. I thought it was perfect whenever they did that.
Yeah, I agree. Bobby, how much do you love Cara Maria? I mean, everyone loves Cara Maria, right? If I were on 27, I'd be tempted to pull a Chima. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. 27 definitely drove me crazy. That's for sure. All right. So now let's get into the Amazing Race of it, which I think, in my opinion, I feel like the Amazing Race has the least likely opportunity to stay alive compared to the other two shows. One, I think the other two are pretty much juggernauts. And I'm not saying that Amazing Race doesn't have its fandom, doesn't have its place. And it is a fun game. Like out of all the games, Amazing Race might be the most fun to actually play if you're a contestant on the show. But for me, I feel like the show, and I'm not the biggest Amazing Race fan. I will fully admit that. I only really watched during Big Brother Survivor casting seasons. I just don't see how they can last compared to the other shows with the constant travel, the constant booking, the constant setting up new challenges at these different locations. Like, I feel like that probably takes a lot. As much as Survivor probably takes a lot to make, I feel like Amazing Race production has to be 10 times more grueling because you have to go to new locations, new spots to, oh, we got to think of a challenge for this spot. We got to get a place to do it. We got to ask these people, can we use their location? Can we film here? Get rights from the city, travel accommodations. How do we make it safe for everyone? Like all these things, like that's a massive, massive undertaking. And I feel like longevity wise, compared to where the viewership is for these other shows and what Amazing Race brings in, while it's still good numbers, I feel like the numbers could dip because we just get pretty much the same show over and over and over.
That was a show I was surprised did make it back from COVID. When I'm thinking through shows and they're saying we're starting to bring back such and such, I'm thinking Amazing Race might not be coming back because this sounds like a good time to end it just because of what was all occurring. The other thing that you brought up too, you have to ask there's so many moving parts within in general. Think about the pit stops. You have to find those. They have to be able to accommodate all the people that you have on production. They have to be able to accommodate the contestants that are playing. I know a major change up that they did do back all the way, the old school seasons, the chaos that occurred at the airports and all those places, because those players were booking their plane tickets specifically. They then implemented where they changed that, where they were able to book specific ticket lineups that they already had put in place, which changed the dynamic completely because then you're missing the element of those players scrambling to book those plane flights and doing all that. I think old school Amazing Race is so much better than the newer version of Amazing Race. And then also look at the factor here, this current season that's going on, they're just filling it in Europe. That's the only location that they're going to. So they're not going outside of that. So I think that does make it easier, though, for the Amazing Race to keep going if they choose to have it just in specific locations where they're not going out of it. If they're going everywhere, it is much harder, I believe, to keep it going.
Don't disagree with you. I do think that is a smarter idea to have a centralized location. Like this is a Europe, version of the Amazing Race. I think that is a smarter play and a better way to do it. And I'm surprised it took them so long to get to that point where that's where they went. But just think about like this last episode, right? So for production to set this all up, they have to have a location, then have people have cars to travel to this new location, then find a brewery where they can have a challenge, pay for all the, bottles of beer that they're going to waste, pay for that, set that up with the team there so that they can use them as part of the show and use it as the whatever the bar master or whatever he was to be able to decide, hey, are you going to be able to keep going in this challenge? Then they have to go find a farm, then they have to find farmers that are going to let them plow on their land, then they have to have the equipment and all that stuff, then they have to travel again, and then they have to go, it just goes on and on and on. You got to find an ice skating rink, you got to find people to be on the ice skating rink to help with the challenge. Like that production just seems so incredibly wild to me on how, and that's just one episode, people. Like that's one episode where they have 5 different locations that they have to schedule, plan with the city, all of this stuff, where I just don't know how this show does it long term. Now, they've done it for a very long time, but if we're talking about if the ratings are dipping, that's the first show they're going to cut because of how much I'm sure it costs and the production of it all.
And they're not getting the prime time slot. They're not the Survivor time slot. They're not the Big Brother time slot. So that's also different in itself. And going back to detours that they have to do, are they paying those people that are part of those detours? I mean, think about the bar setting that they were in where they had all those people where they had to memorize the chairs and all that. Those people are there all day. Think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because the teams, the amount of times that they have to go in, and it's the same thing in general. You see, this is hours apart, folks. It's not just a minimal amount of time that they're in these sections. They have to wait constantly. So I'm curious to know, do they recruit these people that want to say, okay, I'm going to be in this location all day long, I want to do this, or are they having to pay these people, let alone they're taking over the full entire space as well? So you also have to factor that in too.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to get back to your guys' comments. Eben Hand said Johnny Mac noticed a crown missing on one of the twins. Yeah, I remember that. So that's like a dead giveaway. Juan said, I've never watched Amazing Race and decided to tune in this season. And wow, was I not entertained? Honestly, though, like that's why I've never been a huge fan. The only time I watch is when we have like these Big Brother or Survivor players playing the Amazing Race, because at least I know them. I know the backstory. Like, oh, we haven't seen these people in a while. I'm excited to see them on a different show and how they'll play out. Outside of that, when it's all new people, I'm sorry to these new people. No offense to them. I just don't care. And you have to be a real fan of the show. And then 2, it's kind of like, what's the difference between last season and this season, right? They've gotten to the point now where we're so many seasons in. It's basically a lot of the same locations. Yes, I'll do respect. The venues are different, but it's the same locations. And it's the same kind of race. Like it's just someone's going to be behind and then someone might catch up. And most likely the person behind is going to be the one out. And then it's just, okay, next week, the person that was the last place team, they're most likely going to go out. Maybe they'll make a 1 place difference, but they're not going to change anything. Like it's just, it's kind of boring. It's kind of boring. And I hate that.
Wait a minute. This is what I do want to talk about. Old school Amazing Race was so good. And I guess you're saying too, I hear you with the locations. They've gone back to the same locations that they've been to many a times, but just the entertainment from the contestants alone, if you go back way from square one, it's so good. The casting was phenomenal. You had teams that you go, I don't like this team at all. I'm rooting against them. I'm rooting for this specific team. It's just a different animal nowadays when it comes to the Amazing Race, but old school, so good.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give it its time. I'm definitely going to finish the season, but there's just something about it that it's just like, there's no, for me, I like the social strategy, right? And there's no social strategy in the Amazing Race outside of, hey, do we team up with this person or this team for a couple of rounds to kind of get ourselves further to make sure we're not last. But outside of that, there's really no social strategy. So that's kind of why maybe it's lackluster for me. They need more eating local cuisine challenges, more puke. I do agree with that. I like that idea. Turner is horrible at this. They were bad.
Geez.
They were so bad.
So bad.
They just but the thing was they had a smile on their face the whole time. Like I do appreciate that they weren't like stressed out about it.
How did you feel about that height challenge?
The heist?
The height challenge that they had to walk and then get the clue. They had to bend down and get the clue, the height challenge?
Oh, the height challenge. Sorry, I thought you said heist.
No,
Yeah,
height,
no,
yes,
the
height.
height. Yeah, I would be. There's no way I could do that. One of you guys. The thing you guys should know about me is one of my biggest fears is heights, but like not even heights. Like I could be on top of a mountain and be fine. It's uncontrolled heights, right? Where I'm on top of a building that I don't know who built this and this high up, and I've got to hope that they made this equipment that is a length of a pole to go and grab this thing. Is it going to be safe? I hate flying. Like that's how bad my fear of heights is that even flying is terrifying to me. Even just a commercial flight to somewhere close. When turbulence happens, I'm like, we're going down. I always have to grab my wife's hand. Like I am the biggest wuss when it comes to even flying, let alone if we ever had to do the Amazing Race and they needed, and my challenge was to go skydiving or bungee jumping. I'm sorry, we're losing. There's no way. I'm never doing it. So I could not do those kind of challenges. How about you?
Oh, the heights in a second. I would be all for it.
Oh, no.
And what was interesting to me is I was shocked with how many people were walking straight. I would have approached that with the shuffle approach, definitely because you feel as though you have more space to do it. The other thing that shocked me, I was stunned that everyone stayed on, if I'm being honest, because a lot of people were shaking hardcore and nobody fell off.
I love how they were above a cemetery too.
Yes.
I immediately called that out. I was like, oh, that is such like a perfect thing for the show as well. But yeah, I'm surprised no one fell. It didn't seem too hard. Like realistically, it didn't seem too hard. It was just like walk slowly. And then, I mean, if it were me, I would have just crawled. Like, couldn't you just crawl? Like sure. I would just crawl and you're going to be more stable. And then you're already down there. You don't have to worry about bending down to pick it up. Like you're already down there. And then maybe getting turned around would be a little more difficult, but no more difficult than standing back up. So I don't know. That's just my way of thinking about it. And like that kind of challenge I could do. I wouldn't like it, but I could do. If it comes to like free falling, absolutely not. I could not do it. Let's get to some more comments here. Jet lag versus overtar all day. I agree. Jet lag, if you guys haven't seen it, jet lag is great. Jet lag is very entertaining. I like when they do it like where it's basically like a hide and seek over a long, like a country, right? So it's like one person will go and hide, or like two people will go and hide at different parts of the country, like Japan. And these other guys have to go and find them. And they have to find them they have pictures that they show them, not giving them exact location, but they have to find based off the geography and all that. It's wild. It's a really, really good show. I'm surprised it hasn't been picked up for an actual reality TV show, like a big, massive production. Have you seen that show?
Comment. I was going to say, I have no comment on this because I have not.
Check it out. It's on YouTube. It's really good. Amazing Race isn't the social game compared to Big Brother and Survivor. It's the challenges and the amazing places they travel to, and it's silly and fun. And I get that. And there's people that resonates with, right? But if we're talking about longevity for the show compared to these other two shows, I think production-wise, ratings-wise, and just overall like capability, I think this will be the first one cut.
I definitely agree with all of that for sure. I think, as we said, Big Brother, the longest, Survivor, and then Amazing Race is the order right there. Boom, boom, boom.
I agree. I think Big Brother, Survivor, Amazing Race, 100%. Last time I flew, I put my hands up like a roller coaster on takeoff. You're crazy. No shot. No shot. Like I hate it. I hate turbulence with a passion. Jet Lag All Stars has been killing it so far. I need to tune in. I need to check it out. I've only seen a couple of their like videos and stuff on YouTube, but I was really entertained by it. So definitely, Lauren, check it out. It's good stuff. But yeah, so as far as our discussion today, I think that with Survivor, I do think that we have the capability of having a long stint with Survivor. I do worry about it becoming a little stale. I do worry about, what happens when Jeff leaves. I think they have a great opportunity waiting in the wings, but we'll see if they take it. I do worry about is viewership going to continue to rise? Is it going to plummet after 50? Are people going to maybe start to tune out because, hey, we just got this big 50 that we've all been waiting for? Oh, you're not going to change it up. It's going to be like 48 and 49 now. Okay, now I can dip out. I just wanted to get through 50. I do worry that is a factor. And I really hope production makes some changes when it comes to 51 and onward. But I do think that we'll get them for a good time coming. I hope we have them for another 25 years of Survivor. As far as Big Brother, I think Big Brother is going to stand the test of time until they want to, put that thing to bed, which I don't see it happening, ever. Like that show could probably last longer than our lifetimes. Let's be real. I think that Big Brother will still be on our screens for many, many years to come. An Amazing Race, honestly, I really don't think it's going to be something that's going to be around 20 years from now, unless they make some interesting changes. But I think longevity-wise, I think it's kind of getting to the end of the course when it comes to The Amazing Race. What are your thoughts, Lauren?
I personally think when Phil decides to be done with The Amazing Race, I think Amazing Race is just ending there. That's just what I'm going with.
Yeah.
That's my big stance on it, because I know I brought up earlier about the hosts leaving. Big Brother and Survivor, I see somebody slotting in. Who's slotting in for The Amazing Race? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's not someone waiting in the wings or someone that we really would be eager to see as the new host. Like Phil is The Amazing Race. Like
Correct.
Jeff is Survivor, but we know what there can be if it's not Jeff, right? Like we know with Big Brother who it can be if it's not the Chinbot. If it's not Phil, we have no idea what this show is, right? And his voice is so iconic too. Like his voice and his accent and everything and the way he pronunciates things on the show when it comes to like will be voted out, like just the way he pronunciates everything during the show, that is a staple of the theme of Amazing Race. And without that, it's just not going to be the same.
No, not at all.
So, all right. With that being said, I think we're going to bounce out of here a little bit early. Sorry for the late stream. I was having some computer issues, and I hope it wasn't too laggy for you guys on my end throughout the show. I appreciate each and every one of you guys being here, getting your comments read live on stream. We'll do this again. Next week's going to be a little different schedule, everybody. So just so you know, my daughter, they have parent-teacher conferences all week. So the times for her school are completely different. She now is going to go from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. every single day next week. So Tuesday and Thursday will be my normal times, I believe. Let me double check this in my head. Monday. Yeah. So Monday and Friday are going to be the two times that are going to be different. Monday and Friday, I'm going to be going live a little bit earlier. I'll be going live 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Monday and Friday. And then Tuesday and Thursday, I will be going my normal times of noon to 2 Pacific. So like I said, next week's going to be just a 1 week kind of weird thing, but Monday and Friday will be 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific. Tuesday and Thursday will be our normal times of 12 noon to 2 p.m. So I'm going to definitely work on what we're going to get from hopefully some more Big Brother interviews for you guys here live on stream. And then hopefully we'll have some more Survivor and other reality TV to talk about next week. Because honestly, guys, with Big Brother being over, it is hard to come up with things to talk about for sure. So if you guys have any comments, any suggestions on things you'd like to see me cover on the live stream that you want me to see go over for either Big Brother, Survivor, Amazing Race, Traders, what have you, I would love to get your guys' input on what you want to hear live on stream. And once again, I want to give a big shout out to Lauren Pratt. Everybody, thank you so much, Lauren, for being here. Lauren, like, you are such a trooper. You come in when I need you, and you always help out and entertain the people with me and help me get to their comments. So I appreciate you and look forward to all of your content here at Reality After Show, at After Show on YouTube. Check out Lauren's 99 to Beat interviews that she does with the cast. You had an interview with Sandra Diaz-Twine recently too, so if you guys haven't checked that out, go check that out. Check out our podcast, our Wednesday night immediately following the East Coast airing of the Survivor episode. We go live with the Survivor After Show. Me, Johnny Fairplay, Gabe Ortiz from Survivor 47, and Wayne Mimit. And hopefully we're going to have some guests here soon as well. We have some ideas of some guests possibly coming in. So guys, tune in Wednesday nights after the East Coast airing. We immediately go live with that show. You can follow me at Goodsby Bobby on Twitter /X and Instagram. I notify you guys when I go live every single time. Hit the bell notification, hit the like button, leave a comment in the comment section. Everything helps with the algorithm. And give me a follow at, I just forgot. I've been going through so many things. I forgot my own thing. Twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby for my Twitch account. If you'd like to follow me there, it would help me out a lot. Anything you want to plug, Lauren?
Yeah, as Bobby said, I cover 99 to beat. I've had a ton of the cast members on, so you're really getting the inside scoop with them coming. If you haven't checked out the show, check it out. I would almost say it's basically a minute to win it game, and you just can't finish last. They start with 100 people, and they do various different types of competitions. It's really fun to watch. So check that out. Check out the interviews that I do. Also to note, Squid Game Season 2, The Challenge, will be premiering November 4th, and I will be back covering that with Dan from Season 1, Player 204. So be on the lookout for that as well when that comes up.
All right. Look forward to it. Look forward to all of our content here at After Show. And that's it, guys. I'll see you next week with my prearranged hours. I will post that on social media so you guys don't forget. But just hit the bell notification and follow me on my my social media outlets so that you're notified when I do go live, in case you forget that next week's schedule is a little bit crazy. So I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.